Geschwindigkeit 1,3. Julian, kommt ins Ziel.
That's great! First Worldcup back!
Ins Ziel bringen. 135,1. Jawohl, so. Geschwindigkeit 101,8. Topspeed 107. Den Sieg für Kimberly Boss ab.
Nog eentje erbij.
Finish time 53.97.
Geschwindigkeit 101,8. Topspeed 107. Den Sieg für Kimberly Boss.
Nog eentje erbij.
It is now 5 minutes to start, 5 minutes to start, and 3 minutes to start for the forerunner.
The fifth race weekend of the BMW IBSF Bobsleigh and Skeleton World Cup in the winter wonderland of the '94 Winter Olympic venue, Lillehammer in Norway. For Skeleton World Cup, it's the first time back here for 20 long seasons, but we do have an athlete in the field who was in the last World Cup race back in 2004. Most of the coaches weren't even here at that stage. 32 sleds will go in the first of our two heats, 25 in the second. Martin Haven and alongside me, the USA's Austin Florin. Austin, you're on the track this morning. Tell us about Lillehammer. It looks like a bit of a glider's track rather than a roughy-tufty Lake Placid Altenburg style drive.
Yeah, it's definitely more of a glider's track. It's a lot of finesse up in here, but it's definitely a push track where it's shorter, more like Park City, where the push is going to take you a long way. Top of the track, there's not a whole lot going on, a lot of flat corners where you want to do as minimal work as possible. Let the sled go, try to gain as much speed or hold as much of your advantage from the start as you possibly can. Here we come into corner 4, we are going to see some issues, some people going late into corner 5, just a tricky same corner combination, into the big long corner 6 to set you up into the labyrinth of 7, 8, 9, which is super critical. Again, you'll want to let the sled go, try to get as much speed as possible coming down into corner 10. Big first double pressure right here into a same corner combo, setting you up into the corner 12, which is the beginning of the bottom of the track. You're going to see some big waves up here and some athletes coming out of 13 and slamming that left wall or shooting, and it's going to make a big difference down bottom, coming down into 15 right here where we start going uphill and possibly see some athletes hitting there and losing a lot of speed in these bottom corners.
Well, we saw in the men's race, between 14 and the finish line, you can lose a lot of time, so that's definitely something we need to look out for. Valentina Margalio, second in the World Cup rankings behind Kimberly Boss, is the start record holder, and she's had a few races here. I was talking to her after training, saying, how's it going? She said, not good, I'm just inventing new mistakes every run. So we'll see how that works out for her. Tina Hermann in third in the overall points, but Kimberly Boss on a tear. She's had 3 medals, including 2 wins in the last 3 races. And for a number of our more experienced athletes, this is relatively unknown territory. Some of the newer names have definitely raced here in Europe Cup and the Intercontinental Cup, the lower categories of racing, so actually have more knowledge, except for maybe Katie Ulender, who returned to the World Cup in St. Moritz with a podium, first time out in over 2 seasons. There's our points leader, Kimberly Boss, and Valentina Margalio of Italy. And they will go off quite early in the run. Kimberly 5th, Tina Hermann 6th, Valentina 7th. There's Tina. So a good opportunity for some good ice, because unlike St. Moritz, where we were 2 weeks ago, the further the day progresses and the later you are in the run, probably you're going to find the track is definitely not speeding up. First out of the start shed will be Sarah Schmidt of Switzerland, with Katrina Eigenmann and Alina Peltmans there, the 3 first athletes outside the top 15.
From Switzerland, we have Sarah Schmidt, and the track
Later down in the order, we'll have some of our younger sliders with, in 30 seconds starting position, Michelle Tuchen of the USA making her World Cup debut. We get underway with Sarah Schmidt of Switzerland, under 20 Junior World Championship silver and Junior World bronze medalist here just 3 weeks ago.
Starts off with a 5.16, strong start. Again, I'm not too certain on the speed of this ramp. It's the first time I've ever been here, but 1600s off the start record, pretty good place to start.
The first thing I noticed is that it's flat for very few paces and then dives off down the hill, and over that brow we saw 2 or 3 sleds in the men's race pop the groove, so everybody's very aware of that after training.
Yeah, we had an issue this morning, first run. There was a bump in the groove around the crest. A lot of people had a lot of issues first run. We made changes and they fixed it for second run, so should be fine for the women here today.
113.3 kilometers an hour. We'll see probably 125 from the very fastest sleds at the bottom. So our first 3 sliders outside the top 15 of the World Cup rankings, to make sure that nobody in the battle for the overall honours gets a massive advantage from a fresh spritz of the track. 53.71. The downtime record is a 53.03 from Corinna Leipold of Germany. That was set in the Junior Worlds in January 24, just a couple of weeks ago. In fact, it wasn't. It was the Europe Cup that followed the Junior Worlds.
You see a big skid here and a lot of height off corner 13. You're going to see this from almost all the sleds in the field. There's going to be a few that do lace it all the way into 14, and you're going to see those sleds gain a lot of speed in there. Going sideways in there is not what you want to see.
We'll see. Yeah, not easy to avoid that slap on the left-hand wall as you come out of 13. Katrina Eigenmann now, 21 years of age, 3 years older than Sarah Schmidt, from Liechtenstein. Like Sarah, 4th World Cup start for her. She's a youth Olympian, not here in 2016, but in St. Moritz in 2020. But she did race in qualifiers here for those Youth Olympic Games. She raced in the Junior Worlds 3 weeks ago, in Europe Cup and in Intercontinental Cup. So again, young sliders have more knowledge than a lot that have done several more seasons.
Yeah, it's a different dynamic this week for this race. Most of the seniors have not been here, or the more experienced sliders have not really spent much time here except for some preseason sliding, if any. So we're going to see some interesting results like we did for the men's race.
We did indeed. And we also saw that if you have the setup absolutely spot on for the very different weather conditions today than there have been in training, then that can make an advantage as well.
Yeah, it was definitely different today, and some people are going to take some gambles on equipment, and we'll see if it'll pay off.
It's going to be getting on for a second behind.
Big skid into 14.
Skid. Yeah, really putting the sled sideways, dragging speed out of it, unfortunately. Katrina Eigenmann, she was very nearly a second back, 54.64. Of our 32 starters, 7 don't get a second heat. Only the top 25 go through into heat 2. And then they will go in reverse order. But that's the battle for the younger sliders, the newer sliders, whatever their age, is to try and make it into the second heat. A long skid here, luckily heading left as the curve goes left, but...
Yeah, it looks like it's into 13. She's a lot of height there, and she comes and hits this wall, just is a little too stiff and fights it and skids. You'd want to see you take that second hit and kind of just be smooth instead of skidding the whole sled way slower than taking 2 hits.
Whipping off 13 into the wall there on this. This is really the only straight on the entire track. Being helped out by the Germans. Third off, Elena Peltmans of Belgium. 11th in the Youth Olympics in 2020. Again, qualifiers here, Europe Cup, ICC, Junior Worlds. She's raced here half a dozen times in all different categories.
Again, you'll see one of these younger sliders, newer sliders to World Cup with a little bit more experience than some of the veterans, so good chance for her to throw down a good run.
1800s behind Sarah Schmidt, but she started 2/10 quicker than Katrina Eigenmann.
Carrying a bit more speed than her right now. We'll see if she can pull it back a bit.
2/10 back, she's got enough ice time. She has got good speed, and again good speed. She's halved the deficit. This could put her in the lead.
She's letting this go. She's going to pick her off. Oh, well.
Oh, yeah.
Close. She might pick her off. Should be up a little bit at the finish line.
Let's take a look. 500's in it. Second best speed. Not quite enough. Wow, that's tight, isn't it? Well, let's hope that's not the difference between 25th and 26th, because that's going to be a tough one to take. 5:34 the start. And she comes down 53.73.
Yeah, again, that was a great example of how the bottom of the track can really eat some time up. She was moving up the whole way and just a slightly little bit rough down in that flat uphill section in 14:15, and it ate a bunch of time.
It's the orange jacket at the top. That's Kristen Bromley, raced here and won here the last World Cup race back in 2004. And he's coaching Elena and Kimberly Bos of the Netherlands. So first three sleds down, and now we get to Brazil's Nicole Silveira, with the first three sleds having a total now of 12 World Cup starts between them. This season, 11th in Beijing, and 16th, 7th, and 12th. So 7th place in Innsbruck just before Christmas, her World Cup best result so far.
5:27, a little bit back, but Nicole, she's been driving this track pretty well this week from what I understand, so we'll try to see her pull back some spots and pull some time, maybe crack into some top spots later on.
Been coached by Richard Bromley. Again, Richard was here with Kristen back in 2004 and has been here many times pre-season, so he's got lots of knowledge here. 600's in the lead.
Moving up. Start to see this gap opening up more and more as she goes down. A little bit late into 11, big flop, but shouldn't hurt her too much for current situation.
1.5 kilometers an hour quicker than the fastest time so far, fastest speed so far.
Good handling at the bottom.
It's a little toe adjustment. Out of 16 across the line, 53.18.
It's 15 off the current track record. I have a feeling we might see it go down today.
Yeah. Well, we had start record in the men's race, much to your chagrin, it wasn't you, but we didn't quite get to the track record. I do agree with you. I think we should have it in this race. There is less snow in the air than there was for the men's race.
Yeah, it was coming down pretty hard for the men's race. It looks a bit better, so looks like they've got a little bit cleaner ice than we did, and hopefully these girls will take advantage of it.
Yeah, there was about 45 minutes between the end of the men's race and the beginning of the women's race, so the snow blowers have been out. They've been sweeping a lot to try and make sure the track's as clean as can be. Pretty much just trickling out of the sky. Our World Cup points leader is the Netherlands' Kimberly Bos, the 30-year-old Olympic bronze medalist, World Championship silver medalist, bronze and 2 golds in the last 3 races this season.
I'd like to see Kim put a pretty big push down here and have a really good drive down bottom. 5:11, fastest push so far. I don't know if it's the fastest push we'll see today, but paired with Kim's driving, this should be a pretty fast time.
We've got a couple of quick starters in the field still to come. Valentina Margali, the start record holder. 2300's up, a little bit of a skid saw there. Just had to adjust, and again, just a tiny adjustment on the sled.
Great looking run so far. She's letting the sled go, not letting the mistakes take her, but she's down on speed to Nicole.
Well, Nicole also on a Bromley sled. Second fastest.
Speed, yeah.
Half a K down, so the
little
gap.
bit rough.
Yeah, gap's going to come down.
Coming down a bit, yeah.
She might not have the lead at the line. That's the helmet on the ice.
Close.
You can hear in 15. Across the line by 1100. She just held on at the bottom.
Just 300ths off the track record. We'll see. We may be we were about that close in the men's race this morning, so we'll see.
Tina Hermann next up. She might get it.
Let's say the German.
She might get it.
The Germans showed us this morning they had their setups figured out, so we'll see if it translates over to the women's team.
Well, and we were thinking that, you know, in the men's race, okay, right, just do this. Use these runners, just do that. Yeah, but is the track the same? You know,
Pretty
it's only
close,
an hour
enough,
after the second heat, but
I think they've got their stuff figured out enough this week. They'll be just fine.
I would be surprised if it's calamitous after 4 German sleds in the top 5. All right, well, Kim not overjoyed with that run. I think she feels she may be a little exposed to the next slider. Tina Hermann of Germany has not raced here.
Yeah, as with most of the field, there hasn't been a lot of the World Cup sliders haven't even had an EC here. There's been ECs, but a lot of the World Cup sliders don't go down for these.
This is her 77th World Cup start. She's the 3rd most experienced slider in the field, so she knows how to feel the speed in the track. 5:34 the start.
Yeah, Tina, absolutely one of the best drivers in the field. Not known for her starts, but she can make up for it down the track. And if she's anything like the German Wenwer today, she'll be moving to bottom.
I guess the equivalent would be a golfer who can't drive but putt like a miracle. And second best speed already. We're midway down the run. How close is she going to be? It's not the longest track.
Still second best speed. Nicole's still fastest right now.
Yeah.
Taking that hit, but the sled's going straight. That's more important. Top speed.
Here we go, 2,800. She'll be behind Kimberly Boss. First to second is 1,100. She's 3rd at the line. She is 53.22. Again, starting, what did she start? Nicole started 27, she started 34, so not that far behind Nicole Silveira at the start, and only 400s behind her at the bottom, so she actually closed on Nicole Silveira.
Yeah, pretty good run down bottom, just knowing Tina, she's going to want every little mistake back, and she's going to make those adjustments for second run.
Oh, yeah. No question about it.
Yeah, this is exactly what you want to see. You're going to see a lot of people tap. Tina handled it about as well as you can. Take the tap and let the sled go straight. Don't fight it and let it go.
Now, a lot of the Norwegians, Snorre Pedersen, Maja Pedersen, were saying this really favours the fast starters, this track, which is true, but our first heat leader in the men's race came off the 22nd fastest start. So it's not all about the start. You've got to be able to drive this place as well. What's Valentina Margalio got? 5 dead is the start record.
Speaking of starts, here's the start record holder, yeah.
Yeah. Is she sub 5? She is not. 5:02, all right. Just getting
great
into
handling of one. I heard a little bit of toes coming down. I don't think she liked it, her entrance very much. A little bit rough up top, dragging toes.
Yeah, the Italian men struggled a little. I wonder what Willi Schneider has done, thinking in the hour or so since that, to get Valentina and the other Italian girls set up for this race.
Already down on Kim, and seeing some rough entrances and exits on some corners, and some very unsure looking toes.
Doesn't seem to have had the sort of smooth flowing style that we're used to seeing from her. Having said that, had a good weekend in St. Moritz, team gold with Amadeo Bagnus.
Yeah, her Italians absolutely have St. Moritz figured out. Looks like they're not necessarily got this Lillehammer track down.
Yeah, taught her in training, and she said, I'm just inventing new mistakes now with every run, and she's invented a few more there. 53.67.
Yeah, definitely on the slower of the drive. Her push is definitely helping her right now, that's for sure.
Yeah.
She cleaned up a couple of mistakes. She's right in it, though.
Well, she started nearly a 10th ahead of Kimberly Boss, comes down 6/10 behind her. So Boss with a very clean first run. Valentina, it looked untidy.
For sure, yeah. The thing that was bad was she had a little bit of unideal lines, but she was fighting it. You could see her toes kind of touching the ice. She's micromanaging, and that's kind of where your speed is. If your lines are bad and you let it go, you can still get some good speed out of the track, but you kind of got to just trust it and let it fly a little bit.
Yeah. Overthinking is the bane of every slider's life. Next up, Janine Flock, 101st World Cup race. If she continues to the next games, by that stage she will have started more World Cup races than even the great Martin Stucors. An absolute veteran. She has raced at 16 different tracks in her career. This is not one of them.
I think that's more tracks than are open today.
That is more tracks than are open today, yeah. She's raced at some of the defunct ones like Calgary and Cesana and the other ones that started to see. Didn't race Cherevina, before you ask. So what's she got? 2,900s back, 5th place off the 4th fastest start. And like Tina Hermann, she needs meters of ice to undo some of that start deficit to the
She's
rim.
already pulling it back, though. Yeah, you're going to see her even up more as long as she's clean, super clean 10. Really nice parallel entry into a 12 and top speed right now. Let's see how she handles 13, sorry. Perfect. And she's pulling it back, top speed. She's going to be real close to Kim. She very well could be ahead, though.
She could well be ahead. Better speed than anybody at the bottom. Dead heats. That's what we've seen so much of in the men's race.
Fastest speed down bottom by a whole kilometer right now.
Yeah. And that was over Nicole Silveira, not over Kimberly Boss either, so.
Yeah, 1.6 over Kim right now. Pushing 16 slower, so that was a great drive. Don't really have many problems with that run. That was great.
Yeah, we're going to have to be really picky now. Let's see what they found in the truck to show us. All right, there you are. We're replaying the start to see the load as ever. So well rehearsed. Still struggling with that lower back injury.
Still doing pretty well regarding, though.
You know, look at the form. It's like watching Martins Ducours, isn't it? And or Gregor Staley before him. You know, she's such a great maintainer of form, and she can do that because she knows where to steer. Now, next up is Suzanne Crea, our world champion. She has not raced here in the junior categories either, so quite a rarity actually. She's only 25, and most athletes her age at least came here in EC or ICC. She did not.
No, but she is the defending world champion? Yes, sir. So she does know how to slide. 521, pretty good. Don't see generally the German team have the fastest pushers, but she's right up in there, and we know she can drive.
Team silver medal with Felix Kaisinger in St. Moritz 2 weeks ago. And her individual run, 4th place. Her best run of the season so far. 2 4th places in St. Moritz and in Beijing.
20, she's pulling it back.
4th best speed.
A little bit rough off of 10. Janine did not have that, so. And she's down on speed a bit.
Yep. Tiniest of leads over Kimberly Boss. Has disappeared very quickly.
Not an awful run, just some tiny little things that really compound on this track, as you'll see. The smallest mistakes really follow you all the way down the track with your speed, because it's not a long track, and there's a lot of tiny little things that can go wrong.
All right, so Tina Herman did not get our track record. Janine Flock did not get our track record. 53.0. Kimberly Boss and Janine Flock, as close as anybody's got so far, 53.07.
We got a few wild cards coming up, though. You never know.
Yeah, can be entertaining. Long skid, and she's swiveling the hips to try and get the legs out and just shift the balance on the sled.
Yeah, and look at a good handling of this tap. Obviously, you don't want to hit, but knowing how to take that hit and keep the sled moving straight is objective number 1 right there.
Least worst, isn't it?
Exactly.
Now then, what about Kim Marmons of Belgium? 2 silver medals here in Europe Cup racing a decade ago. That was her last race on this track.
5:08, right up there.
Wow.
And Kim's been driving really well this year. I'd like to see her carry that push as far as she can down the track, and maybe we'll see a new track record. Yeah, the Brazilian-Belgian coaching setup with Richard Bromley really allowing him to focus on the 2 sliders instead of the whole Korean setup as it was up to the 2018 games. She's building her lead right now. She's not got the fastest speed, but she has one of the faster pushes. 3200s, holding that in front. Decent, a little bit late into 14. She's going to be a little slow. Speeds up, though. Three-way tie for the lead. Here we go. Come on, let's see it. Right up there with the track record. New track record. Yes. She built speed. That was great. Richard Bromley on the left and a Mirambel on the right-hand side. 52.88, a brand new track record. And that was another example of just not ideal lines, letting the sled go and letting it build speed.
Finally won.
Yeah, there you go. Well, that record lasted 15 days. Corinne Leipold set it on the 11th of January this year. And Kim Marmons has just broken it. In the snow. All right, not Winterberg snow. Not much snow on the track. Not like Winterberg. And actually relatively clean. I mean, in your race, there would have been snow flurries there in that little tap out of 13. But, yeah, she gets that start record.
One more. Love Norway.
And she'll be looking forward to the World Championships on what is effectively a home track for her in Winterberg as well. Lil Belgian and her fan club have organised coach loads to go down to see the skeleton races in Winterberg. Now then, Chowdan of China. Came here early in her career with development coach Mark Wood.
Yeah, we've seen the Chinese team in the men's field do pretty well today.
Yep.
Pretty short push, though, loaded very early. I don't know about that one. We'll see how she has time and velocity. It's all right. Definitely she could have taken it a little bit deeper, though. You don't necessarily want to see an athlete load on the crest. You want to see it take it a little bit deeper, too.
16th World Cup start of her career. Silver medal in Beijing to start the season, but since we come to Europe, she's had 26th for La Plan, didn't make the cut, and then
Pretty
2
decent.
ninth places.
Third best speed coming back up. Not the best drive, but she's letting it fly, letting it go.
Nearly 2 tenths from first to joint second place now between Kim Malmans and Janine Flock and Kimberly Boss. 6th best speed, not going to build any more down the bottom.
Should be right in the top 5, though.
Yeah, Jack Rose, 6th best, 53.26.
Yeah, definitely a couple things to improve on. A couple mistakes through the middle of the track, and definitely could get a couple more steps out of that push.
400s behind Tina Herman, a 10th ahead of Suzanne Kreyer, hanging out in good company.
Yeah, here's that early load. Yeah, you can see some other footsteps, a couple steps down. Right where that disappears, that groove, you want to get as much of that downhill and help you build that speed as best you can. So loading there just really hurts your velocity into corner 1.
You saw that the footsteps there right over the left-hand groove as the athlete sees it. Valentina was complaining about that. She said, I'm one of the only people that starts with the runner in the left-hand groove. They're all running in my groove. There we go.
And the track.
Yeah, I gave it a shot this morning. It did not work, I'll tell you that.
Kim Armans, Janine Flock, Kimberly Boss, the top 3. 11 sleds down and 21 to go in the first of our 2 heats. Race 5 for the Women's Skeleton World Cup here in Lillehammer in Norway. Tabby Stocker next for Great Britain. 5th World Cup start for her. She raced here in November 22 in Europe Cup. 5:03. Wow. Good strong start again from Tabby.
That ramp is pretty decent. How you see it go, you never know. The second run, snow could clear up. Ooh, not great. Big skid. Ooh, and a lot of height into 6. That's really going to give her issues down into this labyrinth.
Didn't go to Beijing. She won in La Plan. She took bronze in Innsbruck and then 21st. A very disappointing run in St. Moritz.
Yeah, this middle of the track, she's got a couple little mistakes, and they're really going to compound right down here. Big height, big hit. Yep. And she's dropping, bleeding speed. That was a couple little mistakes that really followed her and compounded, and I can tell you that hit out of 15 does not feel good.
16 and
53.49. More mistakes than she would have liked by a large margin. So 8th out of 12 sleds.
Yeah, I know this is tough for GB. This is one of their home tracks, so I know they all want a good result here, and sometimes those not having the good result on the home track is pretty tough to deal with. That's that early, I think that's into 13.
Yep.
That really sets up this huge height off the exit, gets dropped off in a big hit. Does not feel good.
Yeah, falling off the wall onto your shoulder effectively, and a huge skid that follows.
Hi, everyone at home.
And the track is
Our first trapeze artist to win a gold medal in Women's World Cup skeleton, or indeed any other sliding discipline, I think. Next up,
Trapeze
Jacqueline
artist.
Pfeiffer, 58th World Cup start for Jacka. And again, girl from Winterberg in Germany. She'll be back on home ice for the World Championships in February. Great to see her back in the World Cup as well. She was kept out by her lack of start over the last few years.
Absolutely, but she's one of the best drivers that I've seen in this sport, and one of the best drivers in the field, and she does know how to do it.
Well, they don't give medals for the start. I always think, okay, she can't start, but she wins medals for you. What are you keeping her out the team for? It's a tough thing, but
Yeah, it's tricky.
But now that we've got a bigger field, Germany have got 4 allocations, and Jacket is one of them. 4 tenths back, though.
Really neat and tidy middle section of the track. Not the best speed, but it's clean. It's probably going to be that start deficit, can follow you down, but the best speed into corner 13.
See, she's not forgotten how to slide. All those years away, plying
Big
her
hit,
trade.
but still the second speed. She's pulling it back.
Could be top 6 at the line, ahead of Suzanne Creer. She is in 6th place, a 10th ahead of Suzanne Creer, 100th ahead of Xiao Dan, 300s behind Tina Hermann. She's right back at her very best, right with Tina Hermann, who's been in the World Cup the whole time, pretty much.
I'll tell you what, if she cleans up that 13 and laces that straight, she will be a 10th, if not a little bit more, and probably gain a couple spots second run.
Again, 10th best start, 5:33, gave away 3 tenths to Tabby Sturker alone.
Yeah, this is one of those where it kind of just, this hit, and it kind of sets her up in a weird way and sets her up into a skid. She has to fight it, does a decent job, but it's more work than you want.
3,100 slower than Valentina Margallo at the start, 4 tenths quicker than her at the bottom. Hannah Neisser of Germany now, the Olympic champion. Now, what can she do? Hannah Neisser does know this track. She was the Youth Olympic silver medalist here in 2016. So I'm sure a happy return for her to the scene of a really big day in any young athlete's career. Her first Olympic medal.
And to follow up with an
Olympic gold. I know, yeah. She's been in 2 Olympics, she's been silver and now gold.
Top speed, 31. Will probably, as long as she's clean here, we'll see that gap start to shrink. And if she can get the bottom of this track really well and hit top speed right here, we may see her knock on that leader. Decent right there.
Closing down the margin. She was out to 3 tenths away from the start. Fastest speed of all from the Olympic champion. Oh, within a 10th of a second, 52.97.
Within the old track record.
Yeah. So she comes in a 10th ahead of Janine Flock and Kimberly Boss. 900ths off the lead. She's really in contention.
Great drive from Hannah right there.
And in the Youth Olympics, she took the silver. Ashley Pittaway, who took the gold, raced in World Cup for Great Britain, has since retired. Agathe Bessard took the bronze medal, and she's still competing for France.
Yeah,
Kind of a shame she's not here, actually.
Yeah, dealing with some injuries right now.
Yeah. So Hannah Neisser, the only podium finisher in the Youth Olympics 2016, who's competing here some 6 years later, and making it look like she might be another medalist. So returning to the World Cup, Mimi Reneva missed her happy time in St. Moritz because she had to work back in Canada. 51st World Cup start.
Yeah.
World Championship bronze medalist and always a quick starter.
Mimi's been training really well this week with a 5:09. That push, it's going to help her a lot. I know she's been gelling with this track and really letting it fly. So love to see Mimi put down a good result.
No races here in her career. She said, though, really enjoying the flow of the track. 300ths off the lead.
Really nice looking section. A little bit of height there, a little rough. Down on speed, though.
Yeah. There's a lot of foot movement.
10th best speed, pretty close, but you might start to see that kind of fall away right here. As long as she cleans this up, though.
Top 4, top 5. 3 tenths back, Nicole Severa. 3,400s back, Tina Hermann. 3,700s back is Jacka. She's between the 2 Germans in 6th position.
Pretty tight group right there so
she's
far.
Not. She's ahead of Tina Hermann by 200s. Yeah, 200s behind Nicole Severa in 5th. And the tie for 3rd is 1,300s away.
We're going to see
It's going to be a big sort out in the second heat, isn't it?
setting us up for a great race. I'll tell you what, as a spectator, these tracks that facilitate this tight racing, great to watch.
Yep.
As an athlete, Not so much.
Tough. Yeah. Well, it just means like, you know, you've got to be your best to beat the best, and you just got to do it twice.
Exactly. Sometimes it's your friend, sometimes it's not.
Hi, classroom champions.
Well, Kim Marmon's our track record breaking leader as we get next to Hallie Clark of Canada. Born in April 2004, the same year that the World Cup was here for the last time. So her entire life has been without a World Cup race at this track. Let's see what the Canadian has got for us this afternoon.
See if Hallie can put down a good push. 5:07, right up there.
Yep.
Great push from Hallie. And top velocity as well. Which almost is more important than the push time.
Well, there's one thing getting off the line quickly, but it's building that speed over the ramp and down the hill.
She's doing right now. She's holding. She might drop back a little bit right here on this next split.
She's so close to Kim Marmon's at the moment, our current leader.
Ooh, not the entry you wanted to 10. That's going to eat a lot of time. Late into 12. Too early into 13. Yeah, she's going to be dropping a little bit.
Top 6 run, Mimi Reniva in 6th place, Tina Hermann in 7th. Where's she going to end up? 10th at the line, ahead of Suzanne Crayer, the world champion.
Yeah, the middle of the track kind of got away from her there. That labyrinth, it's not too steep. It kind of goes uphill into it as well for a quick section, and it is really important to kind of have it be clean and almost do nothing through there.
And it's quite wide and slow and open, isn't it?
So a lot can happen, yeah.
That magnifies the mistakes.
And then this early bump away into 13 really compounds your issues down bottom. And she knew it was coming too, you can see it.
Yeah, so we're trying to hold it up a little in 13 to avoid really slapping in the wall.
Handled it well, though.
Comme ci, comme ça, as they say in some parts of Canada. Next up for Mystique Rowe, the USA, our push gold medalist from Lake Placid last year. She's been a winner here in Europe Cup and in the Intercontinental Cup in 2022.
Watch out for a start record attempt right here. Looks pretty solid. It's going to be right up there. 97
right
start
in, 497. Record. There you go.
Yeah, Mystique was definitely very excited to get to this track. I know she's spent a lot of time here, and she was really looking forward to a World Cup show she can do here.
Well, she, like Mimi Reniva before, are one of those names that you have read a lot because they're on start record sheets in North America, particularly before they get to the World Cup.
Let 6, 7, 8 kind of get away from her there. She's brought it back, but a little bit of damage has been done. See if she can let it fly down here. And that late entry to 12 is not going to help. Hopefully she can, get a decent entry in there. Going to have a lot of height. Got to let it fly. She's still up.
Yeah.
She might drop back, but she's going to be right up in the mix.
First to second, 900ths of a gap, and she is in second place. 500ths off the lead, 52.93.
Under the old track record.
And that was a bit of a quarterback scramble of a run, wasn't it? There was a lot of work going on to hold the line she needed.
Yeah, for sure. There's a couple of mistakes up in the middle of the track. The bottom kind of is what it is. Sometimes if it's loose, it can be fast, but that she cleans up that labyrinth, she'll be right up there and she'll be fighting. She's already up there, so.
Silver medalist in La Plagne, the first European race of the season. This could be her second World Cup medal. Got a style I always think very similar to Katie Uhlaender. If you put the bald eagle helmet on her, she's got that knees apart, ankles apart style that just gives her the balance that she wants. She's not the tallest, longest figured athlete, so you know, she's given away
letting it fly
6 or 8 inches to somebody like Janine Flock, so you've got to do what the sled needs. Now then, Liu Shi won both Europa Cup races here in November 2021. And again, plenty of time here with Woody in the development program for these Chinese sliders.
5:24, a little bit back on the push, but we'll see if she can drive her way back up into it. Looked like a little bit of a skid in the free. If so, it's really going to show and compound right down here.
A couple hundreds on the start, back on teammate Xiao Dan, who's in 10th place at the moment. More snow coming down out of the clouds, quite a lot more snow coming down out of the clouds. Now, it won't be in the track, but it will be a little more humid.
It gets into some places, not everywhere, though. Very well covered track and protects from the snow quite some bit.
10th best speed at the moment. She's not on target for a top 10 run, though. Xiao Dan in 10th. She's going to be hovering around Tabby Sturker, Valentina Margalio, 13th, 14th, 13th at the line. So just ahead of Tabby Sturker by 600ths of a second. And their coach, Xu Xi, by the way, was a former development slider, started her skeleton career as an athlete with these young sliders, and then basically because she didn't have the push, she joined their coaching team, and she is now leading the coaching setup.
Hello.
And you can see that late entry into 13 really makes a lot of driving. She drove it a lot. She came out clean, but at what cost? It's kind of a decision you have to make there. Like, if you want to take that hit and take the speed loss there, you want to drive way too much and come out clean. But
And the track, it is clear.
Okay, track is clear for our next slider. 20th World Cup start for Italy's Alessia Crippa. Europe Cup medals here in 2022. She took silver in one of the races behind winner Freya Tarbet, who will come up shortly. So again, when you've gone away from a track with a medal, you're always happy to come back, right?
you'd think so.
You would think so.
Yeah. Pretty decent start right up there. Tidy up top so far. Looking pretty good. Again, another one of those younger sliders that has some more seat time on this track than some of the veterans. So look for her to possibly put one down.
All right, 7th at the start, 8th on the splits at the moment.
Laid into 10, but came out clean, so she really drove that hard, and you can see that in the speed.
Clips the wall, big skid down the straight. Berry's ahead, knows she needs the speed. And across the line, 15th it is off a 7th best start.
Yeah, there's some small mistakes on the middle of the track that followed her down, but overall, decent run. We'll see where she ends up.
So Italy's Alessia Crippa. She is our 19th starter in our field of 32. Fairly heavy landing out of 13, just a little brush on the wall. She came off it pretty straight.
Yeah, handled that about as well as you can.
Look at the way
Definitely,
she's burying her head. Look, you can see her whole neck there. She's rolled her head forward to get it out of the airstream. Okay.
And the track is clear.
She's not entirely thrilled with that. Let's see what Anna Fernstedt has got for us. ICC bronze here in 2014. Snorre Pedersen, sliding legend from here in Lillehammer in Norway, helping out with coaching this week with Anna. 5:31 getaway.
Yeah, Anna's going to be down on the start, but she'll drive her way back up into it. We've seen some starts around there make their way into the top 5 already, so it's possible.
And Tina Hermann, Jackie Pfeiffer off similar starts are in the top 10. Hannah Neiser, 5:28. He's currently lying in 3rd place. When you have that start deficit, you have to drive even cleaner than everybody else to try and make up for it.
Yeah, Anna is one of the best pilots in the field. She's been not having the best year this year, but it is there, and she's just got to put one together, and she'll be right up in there.
Yep. I'm not sure if she's had a change of equipment or something different this season, but just again, head up there. She wasn't trusting the line at all.
She is on her own built sled this year.
Right.
So it's brand new development, still got some things to iron out, but she's still a great pilot.
Maybe she needs to have a word with John Montgomery about that. He pursued that for a few years and eventually went, okay, sometimes your own ideas get you into a little blind alley, but you've got to make it work for yourself.
Definitely has the potential to make it work, I'll tell you that. She's a very good pilot, and she knows what she's doing, so.
Yeah, developed alongside Tina Herm, Jacqueline Lerling in the German program. So there's no question she knows how to drive a sled. Again, when you're building it yourself and working on it yourself and sort of in isolation, then there's not an awful lot of touchstones to go to kind of compare and contrast. 20 sleds down then, 12 to go, and only 5 places left in the race. 21st starter is Alessandra Fumagalli, 10th World Cup race for Alessandra. Raced here in Europe Cup a couple of seasons ago.
You see a fast start here from Alessandra.
And with Fumagalli, you seem to think it's sort of joining the dots. She's got a lot of the components, but they don't always seem to fire on the same day.
Yeah, definitely still one of the younger sliders. Still got a lot to learn, but you see some moments of brilliance from her.
Only 300s off the leaders start, Kim Marmons.
Good looking so far. And that late entry to 10 is really going to eat a lot of time away.
Coached by Willi Schneider, who builds all the sleds for the Italian program.
Watch for a lot of height.
Whoa!
And a big hit.
Youch. And you know it's coming, don't you?
Oh, you know exactly what's coming. That hit before 15, that is one of the most painful. Oh, just taking all the hits down bottom.
Yeah.
The hit before 15 and the hit out of 15 are 2 of the most painful hits on this track, I'll tell you what.
54.03, 20th place. So she is ahead of Katarina Eigenmann of Liechtenstein. And in 19th, ahead of her, also potentially in the drop zone, Anna Fernstedt.
Yeah, we'll see where it ends up coming in. We have a couple newer sliders.
Yeah.
So we'll see where everything lies. I think we'll have 7 that don't make the second run, correct?
Yeah, exactly so.
Late into 13, not what you want to see. A lot of height. She had to do a lot of driving to get it there. Big hit, though. See her leave the sled a little bit.
Yep. And that's, you can see as she's...
And here's this into 15. This is a huge hit. Does not feel good.
And as the whole body gets bumped up off the sled, that's energy moving the body up that should be moving the sled forward.
Correct. Yeah, you don't want to... Any of those hits are just really detrimental to going fast.
Next up, Amelia Coltman of Great Britain, raced in the ICC here in 2022 as well. And by the way, the story of the planes on the helmet, it's not that she's a massive Red Arrows fan, not that she's not, but it's because she asked her helmet painter to do something with the Union flag on the back and planes on the front. And the one colour that she had specified the planes to be was not red, so she's got red planes. So she's looking forward to being a pilot after her sliding career. It wouldn't be the first.
That top speed right there?
Yeah, looks like it. 95.8. 95.6 from Nicole Silveira.
Down.
Here we go. 5.17.
Let me fly 5th speed.
Whoa.
See if she lets it go. She could be right up in there. 10 back. She's right up in the mix.
She could be in the top 3 or 4.
That's going to eat a bite. That's a lot of height there.
And across the line, 6th place, 2600s back, 53.14.
That was very good. She lost quite a bit in the last 2 corners right there. You see her a whole sled width, if not more, above everyone else in that last corner in 16. That's just more meters traveled, and she can easily clean that up, get right up in there into the top 3.
8th World Cup race in her career, and she's had a couple of disappointing results the last few slides, but it was definitely much better.
Yeah, that tap before 13 really sets you up. Yeah, that sets you up poorly for 13, which you got to do a lot of work to get through it, which she did. She's sideways in the corner. That shows you how much driving she did right there.
See the knees digging into the sled as well. That's a really heavy steer.
Hi, Harry.
Yeah, she cleans all that up. She's in the mix.
Well, Amelia Coltman currently lying in 6th place. Next up for the USA, Sarah Roderick made her debut in Innsbruck last season. 17th, 16th, and 15th so far this year.
5'10", nice push for Sarah right there.
Yeah.
She also wanted me to say hi to Dennis.
If that's her cat, I'm gonna...
No, it's her
right. So 5:10 start, 7th best getaway, just a couple of hundreds off our current leader, Kim Marmans of Belgium.
Decent looking run so far.
Kim, another program of the German junior program, another product of the German junior program. She went to school in Berchtesgaden, learned her sliding in Königssee.
Ooh, super late into 12 and slow speed. That's going to eat away at her.
Yeah, the gap has really grown. Elbow out to try and drag the sled back online. Her speed has just evaporated. 53.94, 21st place at the moment. 2 behind her.
Yeah, some mistakes down bottom. First top a bit of the track, she was letting it go. She's doing pretty good. She's right up in there. And again, this is one of those tracks that one mistake just follows you and follows you and follows you.
5:10, downtime 53.
Okay, yeah. That's okay, don't worry about it. That's
Push
okay.
5:10, okay.
Well, we can hear you, Sarah.
Yeah. Well, she's got a lot to think about in the drive itself. The start time is what it is, but...
Yeah, she'll have a lot to clean up. Hopefully she gets that second run and can make those changes.
It all got away
Not quite
from
the
her.
brick hard Nick Tucker was looking for.
All the way from
Happy
Puerto
birthday,
Rico,
Martha!
we have Kelly and Denka.
I don't know what that means.
Sounded what Nick Tucker was looking for?
I have no idea.
All right, here we go. Kelly Delka from Puerto Rico. 20th World Cup start for Kelly. After starting in the US program a number of years ago. Sporadic World Cup appearances until the last couple of seasons. Now, full-time World Cup performer.
Yeah, I started in the U.S. program with Kelly, racing NACs almost a decade ago. Makes me feel old, man.
She raced here in ICC in 2014, raced here in Europe Cup in 2017, so it's still been 5 long seasons since the last time she raced here.
A lot of height in 6. We've seen from other sleds that's going to start eating away at her speed right here. 22nd speed. Yeah, that 6 corner is very flat and then it turns uphill. So when you travel more distance there, it costs you quite a bit of speed.
Yeah, saw a lot of that in the men's race.
Yeah.
Big waves there equals low speed down at the bottom. Not too bad a hit from 13 into 14. But she's going to be at the tail of the field, just ahead of Katerina Eigenmann and Alessandra Fumagalli. So a couple of sleds behind her. Not enough to be comfortable yet. 54 dead.
She'll be right in that mix. Have to see where she ends up. And here you see into 6, way above every other line that's there. She recognized it, tries to keep it from dropping. Does a pretty good job at managing it, but then at that point the damage is done. That's from a late entry into 6. And we've seen that just destroys your speed through the middle of the track when you're going uphill right there as well.
Next one up from Great Britain.
Still looking for sponsors to help her to continue in the World Cup season through the World Championships. Now then, Freya Tarbit from Great Britain, raced in Europe Cup here in 21 and 22. Her last outing, she took a gold and a silver.
See another fast starter here from the GB program. 5:07, right up in the mix.
Only her 5th World Cup start. Let's see what she can produce.
Again, GB has a lot of runs on this track, one of their home tracks, and they'll be looking to put some good results down.
Right in there swinging with the leading group.
A lot of waves in 6. She got a little bit of speed drop right there, and late into 9, middle into 10. It's gonna not the fastest line, but she manages it really well.
Made a World Cup debut in Winterberg last season, 7th place finish, still her best result, and this is not going to be a top 7 run. It was early on. Well, that trouble in 13 is going to cost her all the way down to the line, or back up to the line. 14th at the line from what was 4th best start.
And again, that's just another situation where it's kind of one little mistake that that caused several others. And if you can clean that one up and just keep it going smooth, then track's easy. But that's sliding, isn't it?
Nothing happens in isolation on these tracks, does
Exactly. And there's that big hit into 13 that's going to push her away, she skids the sled right there in the front.
it? Yeah.
She knows what can happen if she goes late, but that sideways sled is a little bit of an overreaction and kind of creates just a little bit too much driving and slows her down a bit.
Oh, thanks for watching.
Clear the track now.
Hey, it's our job. Next up, 25 sleds down. The race is full, so for the remaining 7, it's go fast or go home. Katie Uhlaender returning to World Cup action with a bronze in St. Moritz, her first World Cup since December 2021. Now, she told me I think she did race here in 2004. It was her first World Cup season. Either way.
Sure. Yeah, her and Matt were talking about that. Not sure if she had or not.
Yeah.
I mean, we've raced as much as she has. It's hard to.
Yeah,
harder.
I know she forgets lots of wins, but she remembers a few cogent details, definitely. 2012 World Champion, 2008 World Cup Champion. 17th at the start on a 5:27.
Top speed right there. If she can keep this together right here, let it fly, she'll be right up in the mix. Stop the bleeding.
90,
top speed again.
96
lot of height.
or
Pretty
so
good, though.
World Cup start in her 4th sliding career.
Oh, and it dropped a bit of speed.
Now this is still going to see her potentially in the top 10. Big skid there, maybe 12th at the line. 7. She still held the speed.
Yeah, that 12 kind of got away from her. Without that, she would have been right up in there. But she's still not too far off.
Look at her splits. 17th at the start, 12th by corner 8, and then 9th, 8th, 7th at the line.
Yeah, and that one little mistake, she's right up in the mix. She cleans that up. This second run, setting up to be really good. Yeah, right there. You see that. A lot of height, and it puts her kind of middle. That's almost late into 13. She has to do, yeah, she skids it. Has to do a lot of driving to kind of make up for that.
That could have been a top 3 run.
Oh, easy. Right there. That mistake right there cost her a little bit, but she's still not too far out. She's well within reaching distance.
She keeps retiring to doing Summer Olympic sports and keeps coming back.
That was a wild ride. 2 runs to go. Great job, guys.
Clear.
All right, Katie Uhlaender is in the race and Katrina Eigenmann is not. Alessandra Fumagalli is now in the drop zone, 25th place. So it is her or Austria's Julia Erlacher. Julia starting her 6th World Cup race. Katrina Eigenmann in her 4th. So it's who's got the least experience on this track, maybe.
5'11", top 10 push right there. See how Julia can do with this track. I think the Austrians have spent some time here. They've had some selection races here. A little bit early into 4, it could unsettle her. Handles it decently, though.
Did the first 2 races of last season in North America and no further World Cup races until we got to Europe this year.
Skid into 7. That's that uphill section we talk about, that 6-7, that shows in the speed, the 27 speed right there.
Looping through double left-handers 10 and 11. So 9th best start. That's all the potential. She's probably the quickest starter in the Austrian program. She needs to have ice time to keep herself in touch. 24th place. So she is in. Alessandra Fumagalli is out. Kelly Delka now in 25th. He's the Lanterne Rouge and the one in the drop zone, 53.97. So what have we got? 5 more sleds to go. And Kelly Delka not safe, nor is Julia Erlacher, nor either Sarah Roderick.
Yeah, you can see those waves in 6 right there. That's kind of where it started to break down. You don't want to see 3 waves at all. If you see a sled moving up and down in 6, that's too much. It's, again, we've seen it's one of the most critical parts, and it's the setup to the whole bottom of the track.
Yeah, the quick sliders are just basically holding an even parabola all the way around as much as you can. So next up, Ana Torres Quevedo from Spain, raced here in 2021 in Europe Cup, was here in the Junior Worlds 3 weeks ago.
And good to see this Spanish program starting to build up. thanks to Ander. Ander was the only Spanish slider for quite some time, and finally got some new sliders, getting their experience and gritting their teeth on World Cup.
We had Eloy joining the frame, Ula Fernandez joining the frame as a World Cup slider this morning. His first World Cup race. Anna raced in the World Championships last year as well, and this is her 4th World Cup start of the season of her career. 28th at the start. She's not going to find the speed.
See, a lot of helmet dragging down there. Ooh, big skid.
Yeah, the giveaway is the gaffer tape on the chin of the helmet. You can see how much the paint has been worn away. She's trying to protect it. And across the line, 28 spot, 55.42, so no second heat for her.
Yeah, right now it's all about Spanish team. They're all about getting experience, gaining miles, and learning how to slide these tracks, really. It's a whole different ball game going from Europa Cup to here, but they're just here to get experience and get better, and build this program.
Yeah, everything starts with nobody having any knowledge of the tracks, and gradually you've got to start building it. So they've had their own Spanish championships for the last couple of seasons with a handful of athletes. There's another development group of athletes coming through as well behind the current World Cup sliders, like Anna, Adrian Fernandez and Eloy.
Yeah, not sure if they've been here before, but going to be a good learning experience either way.
Yeah. Okay, next up, another 4th World Cup starter. This is Julia Simchen of Switzerland. Mum was a slider, Dad was a bobsledder, Granddad was a world champion bobsledder, so there is sliding in the family, no question. 5:45 getaway.
Yeah, not the strongest start, but we'll see if she can carry it down and put a good drive and probably crack into a second run.
Did qualifiers here for the 2020 Youth Olympics and has raced here in Europe Cup and in ICC. She's actually had more starts here than she has in her World Cup career in total.
A lot of height in the 6. She cleans it up pretty well down into this labyrinth. Looks pretty good so far.
27th at the start. Almost within touching distance of making the second heat. Speed is nearly good enough. I'm not sure she's going to get there. Oh, clean out of 13.
It's going to be close, but I think she might be just out of it.
Yeah. At the moment, 25th, Kelly Delka of Puerto Rico, and she remains in that position. 27th for Julia Simchen.
Still safe in the second run.
So I'm trying to think if Mum Connie would have slid here, possibly in 2004, I would think, in World Cup.
Yeah, it's a long time since the last World Cup.
That's a long while. Well,
big, you see this big height into 6. Not what you want to see.
Yeah. That's the exit of 5, not controlled enough. Here out of 13, she doesn't fight it. And that's how you try and keep the speed in, just a tiny little toe drop, but takes a little tap.
Just take that hit and let the sled go forward.
Yeah, back in 2004, when skeleton and women's bob were here, there was no men bobsled because that was an entirely different tour. 2-man and 4-man were at different tracks, had world championships at different tracks. In fact, some years, skeleton, women's bob and men's bob were at 3 different tracks. Next up, Anna Unterscheider. So the Austrian, again, Youth Olympic qualifiers, twice here in Europe Cup, in the Intercontinental Cup and Junior Worlds at the beginning of January. So she's got decent knowledge of this track, probably knows this place about as well as Innsbruck.
Good thing to have in a World Cup start right now.
Yep.
With a deep field, too.
5:44, 27th best start. So she needs to find a little bit of pace down the track. She's got to overhaul Kelly Delka.
And she's going to be looking to get into that second run and move up a couple spots. Pretty good looking so far. She's already up to 18th from a 27th start.
She's actually had 11 official races here, only 6 on her home track in Innsbruck.
Wow.
Yeah. Still 27th place, ahead of Julia Simchen, Katrina Eigenmann and Ana Torres Quevedo, but not quite enough to make it into the race. Speed looks decent. Not enough to catch Kelly Delka, or is it? Kelly 1.12, it is enough. She's in the race.
just ahead of, tied with Sarah.
All right, so we could have 26 in our top 25.
We'll see.
So tied with Sarah Roderick for 23rd place. Julia Erlacher is 25th. Kelly Delka is out. All right. So not a bad looking load.
Yeah, pretty good load. This is that entrance into 13, that late, you see the pressure hit and she just gets smushed into the sled. That late entry is not the fastest one, but she managed it all right. A little bit of skid, it takes that hit, square the sled up and let it go.
Yeah, you could see she wasn't fighting it. The body wasn't tense. She's just allowing the body to be a damper. Now, Lara Vargas raced in the Youth Olympic Games to 18th place in 2016 as a Canadian. Hasn't raced here since, though, so a long while since she was here last.
Yeah, we'll see how she drives it. She's down on the start, not the fastest, but she's still in the mix. If she can put together a good run, we'll see her in the second heat.
Well, only 100 slower than Anja Unterscheider, who we've just seen go into 23rd spot, so it is possible. Well, probably with a bit less ice time, and certainly a lot less on this track than the Austrian who preceded her.
Yeah, pretty decent looking run so far. Ooh, that's not going to help her cause into the second run. Late entry into 12 is a time killer.
Pretty clean out of 13, keeping what speed she's got alive. It's not going to be enough to make it through. She's having a battle with Ana Torresquevedo, and she slips in front of the Spaniard, 30th place. So no second heat for Lara Vargas either. World Cup best result, 27th in La Plan. She will be 30th or 31st.
Yeah, still looking for that elusive second run right now. The again, new to World Cup, new to this higher tier. She'll get her way into it, working with the Canadians, and yeah, she's got some good sliders to help her out. See that, a lot of height out of 14. That's dangerous. That's super close to that wall.
All right. The happy day will come soon where she's through safely into the second heat. Caleb Smith with the sled for our only debutante in the field. I think that's the fewest new sliders we've had in any World Cup this season. For the women, this is Michelle Toucan, 30 years old, from the USA.
Yeah, Michelle's super stoked to be here. Pretty solid pusher. We'll see what she can do. She was here for the EC a couple weeks ago. She's been here for a month.
Yeah. Well, that's the way to learn how to slide, is to repeat on the same track rather than race from new track to new track to new track. So 5:24, 17th best start. And that gives her a great opportunity with her knowledge of the track and a handful of races under her belt here as well in Europe Cup and ICC. And make it through into the field.
Yeah, pretty good so far. Not too bad looking. She's going to be looking to get into this second run on her first World Cup.
Nice and
pretty
smooth.
Good roll. She's right up in there. She's right close to that bubble.
Yes, she
Let
is.
the sled go.
25th is Julia Erlacher of Austria, and she is creeping in.
Close. Watch out for that hit.
She's going to be right with Sarah Roderick. She's just in front of Sarah Roderick and Anna Fernstedt and Anja Unterscheider. 22nd place, Michelle Toucan makes the field on her debut. Never a given for a new slider, particularly, and you'll remember your first World Cup race, the nerves in the first heat, different from anything else.
Got some guy shoving a camera in your face.
Yeah.
Whole different.
Well, congratulations on a World Cup debut. She makes the field, 22nd spot, ahead of some experienced sliders as well.
Yeah, she's going to be happy with that. First one, get her out of the way. Make that second run, move up second run. That's all you can ask for right now. She did a great job, executed, did the things she needed to do. A couple little mistakes, but...
Great stuff. All right, congratulations. Michelle Toucan makes her debut and makes it well. She's in the second heat. Kids are busy sliding down inside 15-16 and actually outside the finished building as well as the snow continues to fall here in Lillehammer. And our leader, Kim Marmans of Belgium. got a new start record, and we had a new track record as well from the little Belgian. He has never won a World Cup race. Could today, the first World Cup in 2 decades on this track, be the day? Well, there's 2 ways of finding out. You can join us live when we come back at 2:55, or you can watch later this evening on Catch Up. Kim Almonds leads by a whisker from Mystique Row. Hannah Nizer in 3rd, ahead of Janine Flock, Kimberly Boss. Then Amelia Coltman, Katie Uhlander not out of the mix either. Like in the men's race, there is potential if somebody can clean up a little their first heat act for some big gains. We'll wait and see what the weather and the fates bring us. 25 go through, and that means that Anja Unterscheider and Sarah Roderick are tied 24th, so no race, no second heat rather for Julia Erlacher, Kelly Delka, Alessandra Fumagalli, Julia Simpson, or for Laura Vargas, Katarina Eigenmann and Ana Torres Quevedo. They can watch the second heat from trackside, and we will do the same. You can join us that 2:55 local, 13:55 GMT, which is the almost habitable hour of 08:55 Eastern. We'll see you then. Bye for now.
Finally won.